What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NorCal Sports Report here at live from the DreArea Sports Studios in Northern California. We're here to give you all the latest news, updates, and scores from all the NorCal teams in Northern California. And today we have a very, very jam-packed episode that I can't wait to get to because we just had a big game on Sunday. The Niners lose to the Vikings. What went wrong? What mistakes did Kyle Shanahan make? And what player has been missing since week 1? We're going to talk about the San Francisco Giants. And they broke a record, which was cool, but still haven't seemed to break anything else. The Oakland A's. The Cal Bears, which have been off to a great start. San Jose State Spartans. Stanford football. 3C2A scores, and a whole lot more, guys. You're listening to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your feed for all that is sports. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. So, look. This weekend was a little rough. It was a rough weekend for a lot of teams, not just the Niners, when we're talking about NFL. It was a rough weekend for the Giants, San Francisco Giants, that is. So that was rough. The A's, yes, Adam, I understand the A's dropped a series to the White Sox. We'll cover that as well. I don't call them the Oakland A's anymore because, frankly, they're probably never going to come back to Oakland. So they're just the Athletics baseball team. Thank you, Jen. And we're going to talk about some 3C2A scores. We're going to talk about Cal Bears. We're going to talk about Stanford's upcoming game against Syracuse. San Jose State's win in their upcoming game. But first, we're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers. Okay? Let's talk about the Niners. Actually, before we do that, make sure you follow IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and over on X over at IE Sports Radio. So definitely follow us there. IE Sports Radio is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon. You got a podcast source. IE Sports Radio was on that. Definitely check us out on there. Go to IESportsRadio.com. All the shows are on there. This show and all the shows on the selection on the whole category, the whole catalog of IE Sports Radio shows are all on there. So definitely check out IESportsRadio.com. And while you're there, check out IESportsRadio.com/shop. We can pick up some merchandise. This logo right here, you can get it on a shirt, a hat, you name it, it's there. Pick up some merch and help support IE Sports Radio. Also, check out IESportsRadio.com/NorCal Sports Report. That's this show right here. That way you never miss an episode of the NorCal Sports Report. This is episode 3. So you'll find episode 1, episode 2. So definitely check that out. You can follow me over at NorCal Sports IE. That's for IE Sports Radio over on X. And you can follow me personally at DreArea Sports on X, Instagram. You check me out there. I also have my own website at nicotina.net where you'll find all 3 of my channels. You can check me out there. And this stream is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky that's on a whole other planet. If you want to place an order for Planet Jerky, you can go to this handle right here. This is actually if you want to follow them on Instagram. They're at Planet Jerky. If you want to place an order, you can do it at planetjerky.net to get your first order of Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky that's on a whole other planet. So definitely check that out. This stream is also brought to you by Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You can follow them over at Seal the Deal _wax seals over on Instagram. And if you want to place an order for Seal the Deal Wax Seals, you can do so by going over to IESportsRadio.com/Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Definitely very, very, very cool stuff. And when we come back, we're going to break down what in the world happened to the San Francisco 49ers against the Minnesota Vikings. You're listening to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
11 minutes past the hour here on the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And guys, Sunday was a very frustrating day. It was a very frustrating day because the Niners went into Minnesota having lost there, God, I don't know how many times. It's been a long time since we actually won a game in Minnesota. And this was the year we were all convinced they are going to win this year. This is it. The team is loaded, the team is stacked, and the team is ready to win. coming off a dominant win Monday night at home against the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. We go into Minnesota. It's a loud, ruckus crowd. If you watch the show, I talked about how that's something that they're going to have to overcome is that crowd. And I think that they had plenty of opportunities to do so. They had plenty of opportunities to capitalize on scoring opportunities and failed to do so. You failed on 3 4th downs. Utter failures. You have a kicker in Jake Moody who hit 6 field goals in week 1, was the special teams player of the week. Yet, he was never really even brought out. He came out towards the end of the game and hit a field goal, but it was somebody that you didn't even utilize when you could have been putting points on the board. Thank you, Larry. You left points on the board, Kyle Shanahan. Points that you could have won. The final score of this game was in reach that you guys could have won this game. The final score was 23-17. You lost by 6. That's 2 field goals that would have tied this game. But let's not get stuck on that. Let's go to, how about when you start the game off, okay? You're coming off a game where J.P. Mason ran for 147 yards in week 1. Dominant running performance. The O-line looked dominant against last year's number 3 ranked defense in the New York Jets. Now going into this year, if you look at last year's numbers, the Vikings were ranked 26th in pass defense and 8th in run defense. So you could argue, oh, okay, well, I think we should come out throwing the ball because they were never really good at stopping the pass. But you just had a game where J.P. Mason ran his ass off for 147 yards and a touchdown. So what do? They start the game off with 3 consecutive passing plays. And what's one thing that Brian Flores, their defensive coordinator, is good at dialing up blitz packages, exotic blitz packages to confuse the quarterback. So right off the bat, you're putting Brock Purdy under duress. I don't understand the decision. I would have ran the ball on 1st down, 2nd down, and then if I had to, throw it on 3rd down. But you have to establish that running game. You need to get that offensive line in a rhythm on how to open up running lanes like they did in week 1. They didn't do that. And that was very frustrating to see. And then the Niners, I want to say on their 2nd or 3rd possession, get all the way down to 4th and goal. Again, you have J.P. Mason, who everyone compares to as the next coming of Marshawn Lynch. And instead of giving him the ball and letting him run that in, just pound the rock, put your fullback in front of him and just pound that rock straight up the middle. You come out, 4th and goal, you come out in shotgun formation. You're already telling the defense you're in shotgun. So you're going to throw the ball. Van Ginkel, who was probably already coming in on a blitz from the left side, is thinking, oh, he's in shotgun. I'm definitely going to put my hands up because he's probably going to throw the ball. And what does he do? He throws it to his left side. Van Ginkel tips the ball, which probably, in all intents and purposes, could have been caught for a touchdown by Juwan Jennings. Instead, incomplete pass, turnover on downs. Why you throw that ball is beyond me. It reminds me of the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. You got Marshawn Lynch right there, but you try and throw the ball. Definitely a lot of questionable calls by Kyle Shanahan. Leading off the game with 3 straight passes, questionable. Why are we doing that? We just established that J.P. Mason is a force to be reckoned with in the running game. But no, we don't give him the ball. We know that on 3rd down, J.P. Mason is not a huge passing threat, or I should say a receiving threat. So when you get to 3rd down and he's in the backfield, the teams are not focusing on him coming out to catch the ball. So, again, you lose that bit of deception because they're like, well, he's really not a target, so we don't have to worry about him. And now, that's Christian McCaffrey. Yes, of course they're going to worry about him because they're going to be like, oh, dude, keep your eyes on him because he could run, he could pass, he could do a lot of different things. He's even thrown for a touchdown. So I don't get that play calling whatsoever. My good buddy Drew Forder says, I thought the play calling was atrocious in this game. Kyle reverted back to Super Bowls. Super Bowls pass in this one. Only positive, it wasn't a Super Bowl. Exactly. But this is the kind of shit he does when he goes against a well-coached team, both defensively and offensively. He tends to do this shit. It's really weird. I don't understand what happens to him. When he went against Robert Saleh, who had Nathaniel Hackett, they just completely decimated them. In this case, all the way around. So a lot of questionable play calling. And then not only do you not get in the end zone on 4th and goal, but then you immediately give up a 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson. The highest paid, highest skilled wide receiver in the league. Why he isn't double teamed or have Travis Ward with him for 24/7 is beyond me. But to give up a 97-yard touchdown, that's unbelievable. And that ended up being the difference in the game. We lost by 6. If they don't give up that touchdown, I think the Niners win this game. Now, a lot was made out of Sam Darnold. Oh, he's a backup. He was the Niners' backup. He's a backup. You lost to Sam Darnold. It's atrocious. You can say what you want, but I thought Sam Darnold actually had a good game. I thought he did. Taking a look at the stats, you can see Sam Darnold was 17-26 for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, which is awesome by Fred Warner. We'll get to Fred Warner as well. He had 109 quarterback rating. He had a good game. He was very accurate, very decisive, except for that interception to Fred Warner. But he played his ass off, and good for him. There's a reason why the Niners picked him up as our backup last year. This is what Kyle Shanahan saw in him. Now, a lot of us thought that Aaron Jones was going to have a good game against the Niners. He had 9 carries for 32 yards and a fumble. But Ty Chandler with 10 rushes for 82 yards, averaging 8.2 a carry in the second half. Are you kidding me? You cannot let that happen, guys. Come on. This team is too talented to let that happen. And if you were to tell me that Brock Purdy would go 28 for 36 for 319 yards, 1 pick, 1 interception, with a 101 passer rating, and J.P. Mason would have 20 rushes for 100 yards and a touchdown, I would say, oh yeah, Niners won that game. But they didn't. For a lot of stupid reasons, they didn't win this game. Deebo Samuel had 8 catches for 110 yards, balling out there. We got news about him, and we'll talk about that later. Justin Jefferson, 4 catches, 133 yards. His biggest one was a 97-yard touchdown. It doesn't matter what he did on the other 3 catches. What matters is that he had a 97-yard touchdown. Jalen Naylor had 3 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown on a play where Travis Ward misread the defense and gave that up. Again, another mistake that the Niners made. George Kittle, 7 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Solid. It was so solid. Juwan Jennings, 2 catches. Juszczyk had 3 catches for 19 yards, and he had a ballerina type tippy toe catch, which is badass. Same with Deebo. He had a great catch as well right on the sideline. Brandon Ayuk, 4 catches for 43 yards. Okay, let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. Let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. When I think of Brandon Ayuk these days, this is what I think of. Missing Have You Seen Me? Brandon Ayuk, where are you? We gave the Niners, I shouldn't say we, because last time I called off for that. The Niners gave you a 4-year, $120 million contract. You're getting paid $30 million a year. And the only memories I have of you this season so far is being missing in this game. You had 4 catches that were like barely noticeable. You had a diving catch for a touchdown, which you dropped in the end zone in week 1. And so far, you look rusty, you look slow, and you have absolutely no rhythm with Brock Purdy. Now, I saw some plays out there that, Ayuk was open. But the chemistry that you once had with Brock Purdy is not there right now. And I don't know where you are. I don't know where you have been. But you need to start playing to the potential that your contract was supposed to be about. Drew writes, the fact that millionaire Ayuk is MIA means that Debo is overworked and hurt again. Not surprised. And for some of you might be saying, wait, what's Drew talking about? Wait, what do you mean? Well, this is what I mean. Debo Samuel will miss a couple of weeks, according to Kyle Shanahan, because of a calf strain. So Debo Samuel has a calf strain. He's not even going to play against the Rams. I mean, frankly, he shouldn't have to. The Rams are so bad as it is. And we'll talk about the Rams in a minute, too. But now he's out. So if there was ever an opportunity to step up and be that $30 million a year wide receiver, this is it, Brandon Ayuk. You need to do it on Sunday. Because right now, you have not filled the obligation that came with that contract, right? I mean, anyone can be doing what you're doing. Justin Jefferson, he only had 4 catches. He got hurt in the second half. He still had a 97-yard touchdown. That's like back when the Giants had Barry Bonds. Let's say the team didn't play all that well. Barry Bonds hit 2 home runs. He did his job. He hit a home run with runners on. He did his job. Justin Jefferson hit a home run, 97-yard touchdown. He made Jair Brown and Odom look like freaking Pee Wee League football safeties. It was terrible. Brandon Ayuk, where are you? You need to become a bigger factor in this offense. And if you're not getting the ball, man, you got to say something, dude. Just go to Brock and say, dude, give me the fucking ball. Because I need to see more Brandon Ayuk. Is he a talented player? Yes. Brandon Ayuk is a very talented player. But not this year. And he needs to step it up. He needs to shake off the rust. This is why it's important for you to get these contracts done early and get into camp, to get in shape and to get that timing and rhythm back to work with Brock Purdy and this 49er defense. Now, you could say, okay, well, Debo's out. BA, it's on you. But now you're going to have the defense game planning for that. Okay, double team Brandon Ayuk because they're going to try to feed him the ball. Now, there is a chance, I think. No, he can't play either. I would say Ricky Pearsall might be coming back week 3. I think it's going to be week 4, but it wouldn't surprise me if he came back week 3. But the guy hasn't played. So you can't expect him to run in there and just start catching balls left and right and making plays. But Brandon Ayuk needs to step up. This is his time, and his time is now. No more horse around you. You got to do it now, dude. If not, we're going to be talking about this a whole lot more next week. But let's go back to Kyle Shanahan. For whatever reason, Kyle Shanahan's balls fell off in this game. 4th and goal, like I said, you come out in shotgun. I was like, what are you doing? There was 2 4th downs where he decided to go for it. Didn't even think about kicking a field goal with a kicker who was special teams player of the week last week, hitting 6 field goals. He has a strong leg, and you didn't even give him a chance. And then they get down in the red zone in the 4th quarter. What do? It's 3rd and goal, and he throws a screen pass to Debo Samuel. Why you'd go to the right? I mean, I understand you don't want your quarterback throwing across his body, but you're going to go to the right. Well, Colton McKivitz completely blows his assignment, and again, Van Ginkel breaks right through and nearly picks that off. He had a pick 6 in that same type of play against Daniel Jones and the Giants. Now, granted, Daniel Jones and the Giants suck, but it almost happened again. And I know a lot of criticism has gone on Brock Purdy, saying that, he made a lot of bad reads, that interception, fumble, whatever the hell you want to call that, that's on him. And there were some plays, I think, that he didn't make the right read, but the Vikings defense was making it extremely difficult for him to make those reads. But I feel like the Niners offense put him in that situation because they didn't work on establishing the run game early on. And that's what this offense is predicated on, is running the football. And every so often, Kyle Shanahan gets away from that and wants to become a pass-happy offense, and it never really seems to work out. It worked out, in 2019 against the Saints? That was a pass-happy game. But it doesn't really work every single week. It did against the Buccaneers 2 years ago. But this offense is predicated on running the football. You have a guy just like Marshawn Lynch waiting to run the ball. And it's only a matter of time before he gets free. So please, going into next week, going against a decimated Rams team that has an injury list longer than my grocery list, run the football. Run the fucking football. And I guarantee you'll find more success. Because this game was full of blunders and missteps throughout the way. Now, the Niners defense, that was a whole nother level. They literally were bailing out the Niners offense throughout the entire game. Fred Warner, look at this. Top 5 defensive PFF grades at the Vikings. Fred Warner, 95.8. Domino Lenore, 81.8. Nick Bosa, 78.5. He had 2 sacks. Jordan Elliott, Devondre Campbell. So the defense was balling out there. Kevin Givens had a sack. Bosa had 2 sacks. They were getting to the quarterback when they needed to. But unfortunately, the last drive that the Vikings had, that was the one drive where you said, okay, can you do it again? If you could do it again, we could probably win this game. And unfortunately, I think the Niners defense was just so gassed from having to keep them in this game for the entire game. Not just for the half, not for the quarter, but for the entire game. Fred Warner had an interception. That was all Fred Warner. He read the quarterback, knew where he was going to go, made the pick. He forced the fumble, punched that ball out of Aaron Jones' hands as he was about to cross and go into the end zone for a touchdown. Fred Warner was literally keeping the Niners in this game single-handedly. Sorry, I had to get my fan. It's unbelievable. But Fred Warner is a freaking stud. And this guy, there's no other player out in the league right now who's like this guy. I mean, look at that interception. Stretched out. 100% effort. If there's such thing as a superhero, it's Fred Warner. I swear, the guy's incredible. There's nobody out there who's doing the things that he's doing on the field every single down, every single possession. The guy is just unbelievable. And for everyone who's saying, oh, Brock Purdy, you had a bad game. Well, let me just pull this up real quick before we move on to the Rams game, and then we take our break. But Brock Purdy, through 2 weeks, is from Kevin Kruger, the son of Larry Kruger. Follow him on X. Through 2 weeks, Brock Purdy has 550 passing yards. He's first in the league. His completion percentage over expectation is 10.5. It's second in the league. Average completed air yard, he's averaging 8.4 a pass. That's third in the league. And his QB rating is 96.3. That's 10th in the league. Despite a 1-1 record, Brock Purdy has been extremely sharp this season. And not only that, adding these stats through 2 weeks, the 49ers offense is averaging the lowest target separation in the NFL. Even lower than the Carolina Panthers. Separation is a big thing. And the Niners receivers are not getting that. Now, I think that bringing back Ricky Pearsall, that is going to help with that dramatically. But they got to get separation. And they don't even have Deebo Samuel right now. He's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. This is terrible. But Brock Purdy, say what you want. Yeah, he made some bad reads, and he had a rough game going against a difficult defense, but he's leading the league in passing yards. Gardner Minshew is number 2. At least tied with number 2, with Stafford and Goff, and Goff played terrible. Stafford's on a horrible team right now. They're injury-riddled. But Brock Purdy, number 1 in the league at 550 yards passing. That's badass. That's great. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the keys to the game against the Vikings. We're going to talk San Francisco Giants, Oakland A's, Cal football, Stanford, San Jose State. So we're going to talk about college football a little bit. And some 3C2A scores. You're listening to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Check out Big Cheese Sports. It's a good show covering all the Wisconsin sports. Covers the Badgers, Packers. Definitely check out Big Cheese Sports. Well, let's talk about the Cal Bears. Let's talk about what they did to San Diego State. Let's see, where's this thing at? There it is. Cal Bears won 38-10. They improved to 3-0 in the ACC. That's what I'm talking about. They're in 5th place in the ACC. And they beat San Diego State 31-10. Now, let's take a look at the stats because Mendoza had a really good game. Fernando Mendoza was 21 of 29 for 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a quarterback rating of 145. He played outstanding. He had a dime in the end zone as well to Nazia Hunter. That was a great pass, by the way. Javion Thomas, the Jet, had 17 rushes for 169 yards. Absolutely balling. Kadarius Callaway, 9 rushes for 87 yards and a touchdown. San Diego State, Javance Tupuato Johnson, I butchered that name, 13 of 29 for 156 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Marquise Cooper, 22 rushes for 87 yards. And Napier had, 2 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown. Cal and San Diego State. Okay, so this game was actually pretty close early on. And it was one of the cases where I thought, okay, so is this actually going to be a win? Because for the first half, it was relatively close. But at the end of the day, Cal broke away in the second half. Let me see if I can pull up the, where is it? Does it have it? Yeah. You can see in the first half, it was just 7-3. But then in the second half, they scored 24 points to the San Diego State's 7 points. So they absolutely dominated this game 31-10. So I'm very excited about Cal football and where it's going and what it's doing. And not only that, if there was ever a time to be excited about Cal Bears, it's next week because we go against the Florida State Seminoles, who have been playing horrible and they're 0-3. This is the absolute best opponent for the Cal Bears to go into Florida and take down the 0-3 Seminoles. I mean, not just take them down, but they need to whoop their ass. And that would be amazing. And not only that, You got the Florida Seminoles, and then the game after that is the Miami Hurricanes. Two teams that you can easily beat, or at least have a chance to beat. There's a chance that Cal might go to 4-0. There's a chance they might go to 5-0. The Cal Bears. Just whooping ass in the ACC. And it goes to show you how competitive the Pac-12 really was. Because Cal is starting off 3-0 in the ACC. Absolutely love it. It's just so great. I love it. I love it. Stanford Cardinal, they have a game coming up against Syracuse. Let me see if I can pull that up. And that's going to be Friday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Now, Stanford has a chance to go 2-1. I think they can do this, but we'll see how this kind of shakes out. Syracuse isn't exactly a terrible team. You can see it's Syracuse by 9.5, so they're heavily favored. Stanford isn't exactly the most competitive team, but I think they have a chance to be in this game. And the over-under is 57.5. So take that for what it's worth. But Stanford will be playing this Friday at 4:30 p.m. against Syracuse. Definitely check that out. And have a chance to go 2-1 in the ACC. Did I mention the Cal's 3-0? And then they might go 4-0 because they're playing against the horrible Seminoles. That's great. I love hearing these two teams dominate or win games in the ACC, much to their chagrin of the ACC. They're like, oh, we're supposed to be that good. Oh. What about San Jose State? Well, let's talk about that. San Jose State beat Kennesaw State 31-10, as they should, scoring 17 points in the second quarter, 14 in the second half. We look down at the stats. Passing, Emmett Brown was 26-38, 4 touchdowns. He had a passer rating of 181. Boy, was balling. For Kennesaw State Owls, Davis Bryson, 14-22 for 128 yards, 1 pick, no touchdowns. Jabari Bates, 11 rushes for 61 yards. His longest was a 31-yarder. And Nick Nash, again, continues to dominate as a receiver. 17 catches for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns. The guy was absolutely balling out there. Justin Lockhart, 4 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown. And San Jose State moves to 3-0, and they are first in the Midwest Conference. Badass. San Jose State is dominating this year early on. I love seeing that. I love seeing San Jose State win. It's about time, damn it. So they're looking good right now. And then they have a game coming up. Let me see what the next game is. Their next game is against Washington State, who's also 3-0. So that's going to be a big challenge for San Jose State, is to go up against Washington State. That's going to be a really good game. Really good game, actually. I can't believe in week 1 they smashed the Sacramento State. The Hornets. That's my alma mater. They smashed them 42-24. God. So they got Washington State, and then they got a bye week. So good timing for a bye week. If we can get this win here, then San Jose State can move to 4-0. Get the bye week, recover, and take on University of Nevada on October 5th. Then you got Colorado State, Wyoming. This schedule is set up for the Spartans to really make a name for themselves this year. I'm really excited about San Jose State Spartans and what they're going to be able to accomplish. So let's switch gears now and jump over to another sport, which is Major League Baseball. We're talking about the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Giants, they lost 4-3 to the San Diego Padres. However, in this game, Elliot Ramos, who's clearly their best player, hit an opposite field home run. He's the first left-handed batter to hit an opposite field splash hit at Oracle Park. He's the first one, not Barry Bonds. Well, actually, Barry Bonds batted lefty anyway, but he's the first, or he batted lefty. Elliot Ramos bats righty. He's the first right-handed batter to do that. Of all the big hitters in the league, he's the first one to do it. He has that opposite field power approach, which I love about Elliot Ramos. But again, the Giants lost 4-3. No surprise there. Mark Canha, which I think they got to move on from him, but he went 1 for 3. Ramos went 1 for 4 with the home run, the RBI. Chapman went 1 for 4, and not much happened anywhere else because the Giants' offense is completely anemic and is driving fans freaking crazy. Ryan Walker held the lead. They brought in Camilo Doval, and he blew it. That's been the story of the year for Camilo Doval. He's completely just fallen apart. And the Giants have lost 4 out of their last 5. The Giants are... they're playing as best they can with the talent that they have, but it's time to rebuild. And that starts by getting rid of Farhan Zaidi. Farhan has not been able to put together a competitive team since he's been here. In 2021, they had a competitive team, and that was an aberration from hell. Posey, Crawford, Longoria, all these guys had bounce-back years. Wilmer Flores, Lamont Wade, all these guys were just balling out there. Our pitching staff was coming together, and then we ran into the Dodgers and we lost. That was really frustrating. But something to come out of this, though, which I thought was pretty interesting, which I wanted to share with you guys. Buster Posey reportedly personally worked with Matt Chapman on his contract extension after the Giants ownership group became frustrated with the process. They literally had Buster Posey go in there and negotiate the contract with Matt Chapman, who wanted to stay with the Giants. Something that Farhan Zaidi was not able to accomplish. He couldn't get the contract done with Matt Chapman. But Buster Posey can? Some are arguing that Buster Posey should become the new GM of the San Francisco Giants. I would love that. I would love that. Because here's a guy who played the game. Here's a guy who won MVP, Comeback Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and won 3 World Series titles. 3. That's a guy that players will listen to, that will inspire free agents to want to come here. That's the guy that needs to be the face of your franchise. Not Farhan, who hasn't made a good deal since he's been here. I think actually the best deal that he's made, I would say Chapman, but Buster Posey already made a better deal for him and got him to stay for 6 more years. I would love if they can keep Blake Snell. I think if you keep him and Logan Webb together, that's dominant. But you got to bring in better hitters, more offense. Farhan's got to go. When you're leaning on guys like Yastrzemski, which, look, I love Yastrzemski, but he cannot be the guy you lean on in the outfield. Austin Slater, we traded him. Wilmer Flores, I love Wilmer Flores. The guy's a fucking Marine, but he's got to go. He's been hanging on to these stopgaps for way too long and giving them the opportunities over the young guys. Like Marco Luciano, we're just now starting to see more of him, but it's kind of like, why didn't you do this early on? Casey Schmidt has been up and down, up and down, up and down. Like, dude, just give the guy a shot. I really don't get it. I don't get it. And the Giants need to figure this out because they own their own ballpark. They're making so much money in revenue, yet they can't seem to sign big players. Well, they just signed Chapman when Buster Posey was involved. So that's something that they have to look at, is that Buster Posey needs to be more involved with this team. Because right now, they're headed in the wrong freaking direction. Wrong direction. And it's just pathetic. It really is. I'm so tired of watching an anemic Giants offense every single night go out there. You got rid of Joey Bart for Tom Murphy, who blew out his knee and he's gone for the rest of the year. When you could have hung on to Joey Bart and he's at least had that bat. But no, now the Pirates got him and he's having a good year. Andrew Bailey, who I was high on Andrew Bailey. If you ask me, I think he's having a down year. Definitely not living up to the expectations that he once had. And it's sad. It really is. You got Jorge Soler, which I thought good. You got a proven 30 home run hitter. He played horrible in San Francisco. And I think they got rid of him because they were like, hey, dude, let's just get rid of him because if he continues this, big hitters, power hitters are not going to want to come here. Because they're like, wait, this guy hit 30 home runs for the Marlins. He comes to San Francisco and he hits 10? What the hell is going on? I don't want to go there. So I think that was kind of like hey, let's get out from under his contract and let's get rid of him to kind of cover that up. Because no one's going to want to come here if they see big Jorge Soler only hitting under 20 home runs in San Francisco when he hit almost 30 in Miami. And as for the A's, they lost 9-2 to the Cubs. They've also lost 4 of their last 5. Can't call them Oakland A's anymore. Now they're just the athletics baseball organization that plays at Rivercat Stadium next year. So stupid. So stupid. Guys, you're listening to NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your feed for all that is sports. And when we come back, we're going to go over some 3C2A scores and what the Niners need to do in their upcoming matchup against the LA Rams. You're listening to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From where we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen D, host of the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in live to the Show of the Land on Tuesdays, where we will cover the Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Guardians, and Monsters. We will also talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, Crew, Fury, and of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll also cover other colleges in the area like Akron, Kent State, Cleveland State, Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, among others. So like I said, if you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in Tuesdays to the Show of the Land with Jen D on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
$51 minutes past the hour here on the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your feed, your direct feed for all that is sports. So before we get to the Niners versus Rams preview, which we're going to do at the very end of the show, I want to cover some of the 3C2A scores. Which, if you're not watching 3C2A, then you're not watching sports, man. This is some good stuff right here. Santa Rosa got shellacked by Modesto, 51-14. San Francisco couldn't rebound from their loss to Santa Rosa. What? They lost to Sequoias 27-24. American River got down by Diablo Valley 28-21. Monterey Peninsula took down Los Mendanos 44-26. Big shellacking there. Sacramento City College, alma mater. I went to Sac City. Love that place. I hope they remodeled it, though, because it was looking kind of shabby. They won 21-19 over San Joaquin Delta. Let's go! Reedley got blown out by San Mateo. So CSM took out Reedley 23-0. So that was great. Merced, they lost to Shabbat 28-27. Fresno City took out Sierra 40-14. Oh God, that was bad. That was a tough one there. That was a tough one. But those are your scores from the 3C2A football. Definitely check out 3C2A.com so you can follow all the latest sports scores, or check out IESportsRadio.com for more info and for more shows that cover different areas of the country. And they cover 3C2A scores as well. So definitely check that out. But let's talk about Niners and Rams coming up this Sunday. It's going to be in LA, which we all know that is a second home for the 49ers as the Niners take over their stadium. Larry's like, since Riverside fell, San Mateo should be number 1 this week from NorCal. I'm so pissed. That's what you get. Actually, what's funny is my wife actually went to CSM, so good on them. But what do they need to do to win this game? Well, look, we have some updates. The Rams are heavily decimated. I mean, the amount of injuries they have is like, it's perplexing, really. You're just like, oh my God, how are you still on the field? It's absolutely atrocious when you see the list of injuries that they have going into week 3 of the NFL. Let's take a look at it right now, actually. So you're out. Cooper Kupp, IR, likely. They've already said he's probably going to be an IR candidate. Puka Nakua's on IR. Davis Allen. Tyler Higbee on the PUP list. Noteboom, Levinston, McDermott, all IR. These are all their offensive tackles. 2 guards, IR. Defensive lineman, Laura Mitchison, IR. Cornerback, Darion Kendrick, season-ending IR. Trey Tomlinson, IR. Darius Williamson, IR. And John Johnson III, IR. And not only that, but God damn it. Breaking news. Rampage tore his MCL. He'll be out 8 to 10 weeks. What more could go wrong for the Rams? Rampage is out. Cooper Kupp. This is terrible. Sean McVay said that Cooper Kupp is expected to miss an extended period of time. That's never a good sign. And as a candidate for injured reserve, when you say an extended period of time, it's like, uh-oh, that's bad news, buddy. That's bad news. That's not good. Rams safety, John Johnson III, suffers a hairline fracture in the scapula. Out 4 to 6 weeks. Get well soon. Are you kidding me? This is terrible news for the Rams. But it's great news if you're a Niner fan, because I think the Niners are going to go into LA and completely kick the crap out of them. They have no defense. They have no offense. They have Matthew Stafford and Tutu Atwell and not much of anything else. They don't have their starting tight end. They don't have their 2 starting receivers. Their O-line is heavily decimated. The Niners should rebound in this game and definitely win this game with a lot of ease. We saw last week the Cardinals massacred them. They won what was like 48 or 41-12 or 41-13, something like that. They completely kicked their ass, and I think it's going to be the same kind of game. I think the Niners are going to rebound off of this. I think when you look at Deebo Samuel, I think if we're going against a better team, they would have tried to, work through that injury and see if they can get him on the field. I think this week there's no need to, because this team, unfortunately, and I do mean that, unfortunately, the Rams are so decimated with injuries. I think you can afford to sit Deebo Samuel. I really do. Because, look, the Rams, they're not up to snuff. And I've seen it happen to the Niners in 2020. They had a litany of injuries that left them, in bad shape all year long. And it happens. It happens. But for the Niners, if you look at the upcoming games, right, you got the Rams, which I wholeheartedly believe we're going to win. I know I said the same thing about the Minnesota Vikings, but I think the Rams, we're definitely going to beat them. The New England Patriots, which is a defensive-heavy team, I still think we could beat them in New England. And it's a late game as well. It starts at 1:05 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 4 o'clock Eastern time. That only helps the Niners because those 10 a.m. games are tough. Then we got Arizona, who's been good. Seattle, Kansas City, Dallas. It's only going to get tougher. So you have to take advantage of these next 2 games because you got Arizona, which could be easy, could be hard, but then you got Seattle, Kansas City, Dallas, and then your bye week. Then after the bye week, it gets even tougher. So for the Niners, I don't see the Rams having an advantage either defensively or offensively. I think the goal here is to run the football with J.P. Mason and just to establish your running game early, get that offensive line moving, get them to that second level to make those blocks. And I think the Niners are going to find success pretty quickly. My prediction of the score is going to be 38-13. That's my prediction of the score. I don't think it won't be a close game whatsoever. Larry writes, everyone is freaking out over the week 2 loss. The Niners will be just fine. I think they will be. But when you're down Deebo Samuel, you're down Christian McCaffrey, there's going to be a little bit of, a little bit of panic. When you go to a game in Minnesota, which you should have won that game. The Niners should have won that game. Now, granted, I think Minnesota played their ass off, and they played a great game. But the Niners made so many mistakes that they gave that game to the Vikings. But I don't think that's going to happen next week. I can't even look at the statistics for the Rams in terms of their rankings on defense or offense because they have so many injuries that like it's like, well, is that really the case? Are they really the number whatever in offense and defense? That team is so riddled with injuries. It's sad, really. And this is a game I was actually looking forward to before the season started. I want to see how they play against the Rams in week 3 after a couple weeks in. But after this many injuries, like I said, my final score prediction will be 38-13 Niners. And that's that. I don't see how the Rams can compete with the 49ers. The one bright side coming out of the Vikings game, I would say, is that we came out of that game. Well, initially we came out of that game injury-free until Deebo Samuel had the calf injury. But other than that, there were no other big injuries in that game. So take that for what it's worth. I think it's a positive. But I don't see the Rams putting up much of a contest against the Niners. The only reason why the Rams could be in this game is if Matthew Stafford plays the game of his life. And right now, I don't see that even being a factor because that team is so decimated. But you never know. Any given Sunday, right? Isn't that what they say? Any given Sunday. But like I said, my final score prediction is 38-13 Niners this Sunday in LA. I forgot the name of their stadium. It's a beautiful stadium, by the way. Beautiful stadium. Guys, that's going to do it for the NorCal Sports Report. I want to thank everyone who came out here in the chat today. I want to thank Larry B for putting this together. I want to thank Jen B, who's producing in the back. Jen B is amazing. Love her. The Niners will be back next week taking on the Rams, which I think they're going to whoop their ass, and I can't wait to see that. Check out all the shows on IE Sports Radio. Check out the IE Sports Radio shop if you want to pick up some merchandise to help support the network. There it is. That's over on IESportsRadio.com. Follow IE Sports Radio on all these podcast distributors. Follow us on X, IG, Facebook, TikTok, and of course at IE Sports Radio. You can follow me at NorCal Sports IE over on X, and follow me directly at DreArea Sports on X. Subscribe to my channel, the DreArea Sports Show, on YouTube. And of course, subscribe to IE Sports Radio. We need to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. There's no reason why we can't do that with this many good shows on this network. No reason. Well, with that being said, I want to thank everyone who came out and participated in the show, in the chat, everything. You guys kick ass. And we will see you guys next week for the NorCal Sports Report right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.